We can tell a lot of stories in a half hour every month. There's an additional benefit. Not only do we come on live every month, we have replays of the show on the television station during the month. You have replays anytime you want on the web during the times that you want to see them. And then we'll take all 7 of those segments, break them up, put them on YouTube, and allow you to embed them in your site, share them with your alumni, do whatever you want to get that message to as many channels and as many viewers as we can. I think that's the power of this. It's not just television anymore, but it's a multi-channel, multiple player environment that you can use to get to the right audience. So how do you do that? And how do we get started? Well, there's a couple of things that we need to do at the beginning. We need to know what the story is and who's going to tell it. And so the first steps along our checklist are give us a quick idea of what the story is in a couple of pages. Send it to me or send it to Charlie, and we'll get back to you and we'll begin a dialogue about how we're going to produce this story and when it's probably going to go into the mix. We try each month to have a matrix approach to what the stories are. How are we covering the community? How are we covering the spotlight opportunities or the other things that we think are particular UW-centric messages that we want the public to know? And then does it include enough sort of human interest or diversity or technology or all those kind of things? We try to give a real good idea to everybody about what we're going to do in advance. Once you've got this sort of ready to go, and you want to produce the segment yourself, you're going to need to know some things about how to work specifically with television. And there we can go back to Charlie again and ask real particular questions. I gave you a couple extra pages on what the end result of the video needs to be coded as and how kind of form it's going to take and those kind of things. So that'll give you a chance to go back after. Actually, Phyllis would probably say, before you shoot the video, you need to set up the camera with the right things in mind at the end, right?
Yes.
And so what you need to do is think through those things as a part of the storyboard for the story and the way you're going to work with a videographer and a sound person to tell it. First way we can go at it is if we work together and we say, you know, this is something that we really want to send the professional crew out, have UWTV produce it.
So if you're thinking, okay, great, I'd like to do this story for UW360, then the first thing to figure out is, are you going to produce it yourself with your own? Do you have a videographer? Do you have someone to edit? Are you going to do that route? The second one would be, okay, maybe we could get a little bit of it shot, but we'd like someone to write it and edit it, or some combination like that. And the third thing is, we'd really like, UWTV to just do the story for us. We'll give, and you would then give us the information, the people you'd like to have in it. We would talk about what the story's goal was, how to approach it with you, and then we would just go ahead and do the story. And then you'd get to see it, and you'd say, oh yeah, this works. This is what we want, or ooh, this is really inaccurate. Change that. It'd be that type of collaboration. One of the things also to talk about when somebody's first thinking of this story is how long a story is this, and what other purposes are you thinking you might want to use it for? Like, so it's on the show, but okay, you want it on your website, or so you're thinking, well, I really want a story that's only about 2 minutes long, or I would really like something that's a little bit longer than that. And we can talk about for the show, how does the story hold up for as long as 5 minutes, or is it really just a little blurb about something and there's not that much to say or shoot, but hey, we can put a 2-minute thing out and then you've got a little thing for your website.
The question that's really on everybody's mind, and it's how much does it cost to do these kind of things? If you want to go to the third page in your package, you're going to find some really rough ideas of what it costs to produce a segment for a show like this. And I can kind of give you a map too of experience I've had in producing shows and what it cost. You saw a quick little segment there from President Emmert's office hours, where he talked about the College of the Environment. We produced office hours 4 or 5 times a year. It was a crew of 2, basically a videographer and a sound person. Sometimes a director came along too. And then there was the process of editing for probably half a day. And I was largely working with the editor to pull the piece together. And they ranged from 5 minutes to 8 minutes long. On average, they were about $1,200 to produce. And so that gives you a part of a day, almost 2 or 3 hours with a full crew, and that's a pretty full crew, plus editing, and a really high quality end result, where the editor adds all the lower thirds, there's bumpers put on the front and the back. Shorter pieces like that can be done for a lot less money. And I think what you need to look into is, okay, does my budget support this? If it doesn't, what else can we do to try to work on it? Can I find an MCDM student like Dominique or Phyllis, who is an experienced videographer that won't work for $75 an hour? And then bring together the show with those kind of assets and just buy the editing. Or if we feel really comfortable, and there are a lot of students around our campus that have the capabilities, we can produce it start to finish for less money and hand off the finished product. As long as we've got some oversight from the TV station and we've got a pretty good idea of what our process is.
Yeah. We want to get the stories on the air, and we want to do it in whatever way we can cobble together that fits everybody's budget again. So that's another reason to talk to me about, I really want to do this story, how could we do it, and I can try to help figure out what are the resources we could bring together that you might have and that I might have and that we could do.
When anybody in the professional world wants to come to campus and film, we charge them. We charge them for their location time and fees and that kind of thing. So I bring in a fair amount of money to the university because of those professional productions. And I'm willing to take some of that money and put it out as challenge grants to match whatever you can put in. We'll match it out of external affairs to get your productions done. Because I really want user-generated content here. I really want your stories to be coming to us. And so if you've got $500 and that's all you can put in, well, I'll put in another $500, and let's see what we can do to bring those stories to life. We've built a microsite within UWTV so that UW360 content is always going to have its own home. And all of those segments will be reachable from there. And then segments that we did that didn't quite make it for the show may be along the bottom, so you can just watch other little stories that might be interesting. That'll also be the home to launch every month's show, archive all the old shows, and give you a chance to really dig into what this whole process is like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're up now.
And and they're packaged. They're packaged with like a little UW360 on it. They're slightly different than in the show itself, so that they're complete, so somebody knows that it's a University of Washington or that it's UW.
Thanks to everybody for coming. Charlie O, Harry Hayward. We'll see you. Signing off for now.